Hey guys, this is just a quick assembly video to show you how to assemble your KeyZs. First I'll run through the parts real quick. So right here is the wave washer. You had about 6 of them in your KeyZ, and it just has little waves in it, and it's mainly used just to tension the entire unit. And here are the regular washers. They're flat and a little bit thicker, and they're just used to add extra space to the unit. And then over here you see 3 different sizes of screw. We have the small screw, which is just made for 1 key thickness, which is a total of 2 keys. We have the, that's not the medium. We have the medium screw, which is for a 2 key thickness, which is a total of 4 keys. And we have the large screw, which is for a 3 key thickness, which is a total of 6 keys. And then if you got the extension pack, you'll also see these extension posts, which can be used in combination with any of these other screw sizes. So it adds a thickness of 3 keys to any screw. So if you use it on the 1 key thickness, it gives you a thickness of 4 keys, which is a total of 8 keys. If you use it with the 2 key screw, it gives you a 5 key thickness, which is a total of 10 keys. And if you use it on the large screw, it gives you a total of a 6 key thickness, which is a total of 12 keys. This is the KeyZ USB. It's a 32 gigabyte USB drive, and it only takes up the spot of 1 key on your KeyZ, which means that if you're using the 6 key screws, which is a 3 key thickness, you'd be able to fit 5 keys and this USB drive. The same goes for the multi-tool. It only takes up 1 spot of a key on the KeyZ. This is the standoff post, and this is the shoulder of the screw. What you want to do when screwing in the screw is make sure that you screw it in all the way down so that the shoulder just touches the top of the standoff post. But when it gets to that point, you want to stop screwing it in. We've had customers that have over-torqued the screws and broken the heads off, and that's probably my fault because it wasn't explained very well initially. It's important that these screws bottom out, which means to screw them in until they are down all the way. But then you don't need to tighten them at that point. Normally, with screws this small, it would have a much smaller head, which would make it difficult to over-torque. But these were designed with larger head so that they would be easy to tighten by credit card. But you do not need to continue turning them when they get to the bottom. Because of the screw design, and because they are such a small 256 thread, they will hold tight in their place without being tightened down manually. Now what you want to do is assemble your KeyZ. First, you want to take all the components or all the keys that you want on it and lay them out. And you want to stack them up so that you try to get the shortest key across from the longest key and the thickest key on top or on bottom of the thinnest key. And you want to spend a little bit of time arranging them how would be best on your KeyZ. And then if you're doing it with the USB, for example, say you have 3 keys in a USB, the USB has these little ridges on it, right? So it should be on the bottom of your KeyZ with a key on top of it, and then 2 keys across from it. And then say you have the multi-tool and 3 keys. Well, you want to have a key that's 5 pins or less be across from the multi-tool so that it can fit in between. And that way when it opens up on the KeyZ, it can be actually in the multi-tool and save some space. And then you want to go ahead and put another key on top of that and another key across, however you want to do it. Sometimes what I like to do is actually put the screws inside of KeyZ so that you can really stack them up properly and line up the way you want your keys to be, right? So you put the post on, stick a screw on there, stick a screw on there. So as you can see, it kind of folds into the middle of the multi-tool. And then you want to line up how you want the rest of your keys to be around that. And then if you're doing the USB and the multi-tool, let's say, and 2 keys, or we could do 3, it doesn't matter, or 4, any number really. But if you're doing that, you'd want to remember that the USB has these ridges, so you'd want it to be on the bottom with key on top of it, and another key opposite of that, and then make sure that the whatever key you have opposite of the multi-tool has 5 pins or less so that it can slide in. So let's see, here we would have, so here we would have this key sliding into the multi-tool. It would then fit together like that, right? So when you have the multi-tool and the USB together, it's not completely centered, as in which keys are sticking out and which are in. Obviously this key is between the multi-tool and that's in the middle. But you have to fiddle around with it best a little bit and come up with the best combination for your particular setup. Each one's a little different. Before we assemble the KeyZ, there's one more thing you should notice, which is that there's a difference between these two handles. This one has the standoff inserted into it, which is where the actual threads of the screw into. And then this one just has a hole, which is what the screw goes through. So now that we've found the ideal configuration for the keys in our KeyZ, here we have 4 keys, which is a 2-key thickness. Remember, we're counting the USB and the multi-tool each as 1 key. So now we want to go ahead and put a wave washer on the standoff of one handle, just so we're ready for it later. And then we want to go ahead and take the medium-sized screw, which is the 2-key thickness screw, which is a 4-key total, which is what we're doing, and place that through the hole. Then place a wave washer onto that screw for a little more tension. Then we're going to go ahead and put our first key on there. Depending on how much tension you need, you might want to put another wave washer onto that. But for right now, I'm just going to stick with 2. Then put on your other key, and then grab your half, and you want to line up so that the screw fits right into the standoff, and then just hold it together while you screw it in. And sometimes it's easier just to put it down on the table. And remember, you want to screw it until, just like that, until you feel it hit the bottom. And I don't want to tension it anymore or try to torque it at all. I don't want to tighten it. Once it hits the bottom, it's set. I feel it. It's important to make sure that you have the right tension with your screws, and that you have put in the right tension by adding the right amount of wave washers to it. So it feels good. It's not going to shake out on me. It's not going to open up in my pocket. This is where I like it. That's good. I'll keep it that way. If it was too loose, you might want to add another wave washer. If it's really loose, you might want to add another washer. Then now we'll go ahead and do the other side. So we repeat the same method. Put a wave washer onto the standoff. Insert the screw. And then you're going to go, let's see. Then you put a wave washer on the screw. Then put the multi-tool on first. Again, depending on the tension, you might want to put another wave washer in between the key. I think I will this time. Then you go ahead and put on the screw. Try to hold it on nice and tight. And then find the spot where the standoff, the screw can go into the standoff. And then just hold it while you're screwing it down. And I'm going to screw it until it just hits the bottom. Alright, so right there I can feel it. At that point, hit the very bottom. That means it's bottomed out. At that point, I don't want to screw it in anymore. It's good. If I keep screwing it and keep torquing it, there's a chance that it could break. But I just need it to hit the bottom. And then once it hits the bottom, I know that because of the way the screws are designed, it's not going to become undone. I feel it. Feel if I like the tension. It feels good. It's tight, but it's not too tight. If I shake it, it's not going to move. So now we'll go into how to put them together. So remember that with the multi-tool, you want to get it so that the key opposite slides right into that slot in the middle. And then you get it like that. Sometimes it can be a little difficult with getting these little ridges on the USB to line up with the multi-tool. But just wiggle it in and you'll get the hang of it. And just like that, that's how you fit it together, with the multi-tool and the USB and 2 keys. And then if you have more keys than that, obviously you just use a larger screw and just stack it up higher. So this is another KeyZ in the hammer tone finish that we offer. As you can see, it has a multi-tool and 3 other keys. You can see I also chose to put the mailbox key, which is the shortest key, across from the multi-tool, so that when you fold it in, it fits really nicely between the 2 prongs of the multi-tool, the 2 jaws. And so let's see here if I can find a key ring. So this is how it works with a key ring. You just slide it on to the key ring post right there. And you can attach your other keys or car fobs or lanyards, whatever you want to that. And so what I'd like to show you is that, as you can see here, this key ring has 2 loops, or the metal is bent around twice. And if it's just at a random point in the key ring and you try to open the key, you can see that it blocks it and only allows the key out halfway. And that's the reason that I chose to include this, just a small piece of 200-pound test Kevlar cord that you could use instead of a key ring if you wanted to attach something. But I also found that if you rotate the key ring, and as you can see, all key rings have this one spot on the key ring where it's just one piece of metal instead of 2 looped around. And if you rotate the key ring to that one spot, then when you try to open the key, you should have no problem opening it all the way. So now that you have 2 other options on how you want to attach more keys to it, you can either use a key ring or the attached Kevlar cord. Either works just fine. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me at etdesignsteam@gmail.com, and you can always check out our website at et-designs.com. Thanks so much.